I'll now move on to our next speaker, Nidhi. Um, Nidhi is part of our Aryabhatta batch, and she has started doing Ganit Manthan since over a month. And I'm very happy to introduce her. She is in ninth grade, and she is part of Singhania School in Thane. Nidhi loves to swim in mathematics, in science, and also in the sea. So she's a great swimmer. She likes to swim everywhere, and she loves singing. She loves dancing, and she's a very inquisitive learner. And I've known Nidhi in through a couple of other math programs where both of us were part of. And one of the aspects that I really love about her is she's never hesitant to ask a question. So even if nobody else in the class has a question, she would still stop me. She'll say that, hey, I haven't followed this, can you go over this again? And she's very enthusiastic about learning in general. So when I told about this inspiring talks by Inspired Minds, so she was very happy. She said that I would like to present on genetics, and that's how this happened. So Nidhi, we are very happy that you are here to share some thoughts with us. Over to you, Nidhi.
Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. Moving and starting on with my PPT. So today, basically, as Vanessa said, I'll be talking about genetics. Now, looking at some identical twins, have you ever wondered? This was the reason why I started looking out for genetics, looking basically at the same identical twins, having the same feature, the same eye color, everything to be identical. I don't know if you have heard about amoeba before, but it basically divides itself into two equal parts. So basically, similar here, we have one egg basically splitting into two equal eggs, providing two identical twins. In case of fraternal twins, which is the twins which are not at all identical, you know, they are because they are formed of two different eggs. Now, coming to the most interesting part of the PPT, here I have the three identical strangers. As you can see, they are triplets. They were separated for biological use when they were small, unaware of that fact when they grew up. For some film purpose, they were together, and that's when they discovered that they were triplets. So these are all a few actors. You might be aware of them. Just to show a bit of similarity, this character, basically the eye color and all. Now, the first image that I have put up is of two different eye color. So basically, you might be looking at these people and you might be thinking that, they might be having some, eye problem, or they might be putting up some lenses, to make them look good and all. But no, basically, it's genetic, one of the most rarest genetic occurring. But nowadays, even it's a syndrome of basically an eye injury. So it's basically really rare. Now, the next image which I have put up here is just to show the basic, the hereditary unit that you get from your ancestor is a basic hair color, eye color. The texture of your skin basically is got to you by your parents. Now, going to introduction part. So basically, the Gregor Mendel is to be known to the father of genetics and genetics, because he was known a father of genetics. He had done a lot of discovery. At first, he discovered a lot of details about it. And the term gene. So basically, genes mean it was a term called, it was a term name as it meant regeneration. And it was named so because if you look at your ancestors, and you might find out some similarities between them. So this was the reason they used to say earlier that it's the copy of your ancestor. That's why they kept the name regeneration. So the term was introduced by a geneticist who was William Johnson. He was a Danish botanist. So moving further, So basically, what does gene give you? So gene basically gives you a protein which is essential to determine your basic traits, basically your hair color, eye color, as I said. And you know what? It helps us basically to determine your traits, as I said, eye color and all. And it's said that each human body has about 25K to 35K genes. And it even, it even helps us to understand why people look alike. And talking about this, there was a movie called India versus China where they used backtracking of ancestors to find out about the skill. So it's really interesting fact that you can find about something using this. Now, talking about gene. So it's the basic part of hereditary and physical. It's basically considered to be the physical and functional unit. So it's basically a transfer. It's a basically a unit which helps us to determine the basic phenometric traits present in human, which helps us to identify the basic traits. And basically genes make up different DNA sequence. So genes are basically present inside DNA. So as they form inside, they all together are known as genotypes. So now talking about DNA, in which genes are present inside of them. So DNA is one of the biological instruction which is passed on to you by your ancestors, and it's one of the things that makes each species unique. As you might have seen plants, animals, and humans, you might have observed there are different functions, there are different way each of them respond to a particular thing. That's because of DNA, which makes each species unique by its behavior and all. And basically it's composed of two polynucleoid. It's basically composed of two polynucleotide chains. As you can see in the background, there are two chains going through each other. And these, which you can see like these, are basically known as nucleotides. So basically here two of them are taken and they are twisted around each other to form DNA. So it is composed of one of four nitrogen containing nucleobases. Now, so as we saw, gene is present inside DNA, and DNA is basically present inside chromosomes. So chromosomes are egg-shaped, they are basically egg-shaped and they are thread-like inside of nucleus of animal and plant cell. And they are particularly long and present in your body, and they are about 10,000 to 20,000 present in your body. And each chromosome have a protein and a single molecule of DNA. So basically chromosomes are visible under normal light microscope. It doesn't need any complex microscope as such. And it was introduced by German scientists known as Sheldon, Wittrow and Butcher. They were the first one to recognize this structure. Now talking about RNA, they kind of are like DNA, but unlike DNA, they are made up of only one polynucleotide chain. So as we saw earlier, there were two chains basically coiled around each other, but here there is only one chain which is rotated around each other. And in the image, as you can see, there are these dots. They are basically ribosomes. So basically these are the ones that carry all the genetics from your ancestors to you. Now coming to unknown facts, there were many truths about genetics which were discovered by Mendel, the father of genetics. But unfortunately, many of the papers were burned by monks, and by luck, we had a few papers left which we study today. So basically, genetics can disappear or break as species evolve. So basically, looking at the technology we are in today, there are the ways you can add a certain genetics in you, or maybe even remove certain genetics. Now talking about a zombie gene, one of the most interesting gene, it's because so It was not found earlier, but it was to be found in the middle of 2018, where they found out there is a gene present in elephants which prevent them to have a certain disease. So it was found that only 5% of elephants die because of diseases. Basically, these genes prevent them from having diseases in them. Coming to the last unknown fact. So you might have heard from your ancestors, maybe your grandparents saying, our previous generation used to live more than 100 years, they used to live 150 years and stuff like that. You would be like, no, it's not possible. But yeah, it used to be possible. And you know why it doesn't happen today is because as the age goes by, your genes get damaged and damaged. And it's not completely proved though, it's just, and it might be a reason, it is said that so far it might be a reason which prevents us from living more than 125 years today. Thank you. You can mail me at my email ID for any clarification.
Thank you, Nidhi, for that beautiful presentation.
Here's my question. Why do people have been recorded living more than 125 years?
So it's basically, you might have heard any one of your grandparents or anyone saying to you that basically we lived more than 125 years. Not they basically, but their ancestor lived more than 25 years. But it is not yet confirmed, but it was said that your genes, as the age goes by, as you were young, you were more active and you'll be more strong. But as the age goes by, you'll get weaker and weaker. Similarly, here in particularly in genes, as the age, as the generation passes, because it's been, the humans have been found over so many long decades now. So basically, as the decades go on, your genes get damaged, they get weak. That's the reason.
Okay.
Did you
Okay,
get?
thanks.
Okay.
There is a question that came on chat, that is, how are non-identical twins, how does that happen? Because we saw how identical twins are born. So you have something to share?
So basically, when your parents, your mother has to, basically, while you go about fraternal twins, which are unidentical twins, they get two different eggs. So basically, two different eggs are present in woman's womb during that time. So basically, that is born separately. And while you look at identical, that same one is separated into two. It's same, it's divided into two. But here, those two are given out separately, and they are born out separately.
Okay. Yeah, yes, Rita. Yes.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Nidhi. It was a very nice topic that you've given. And actually, I am a parent here, and my two sons actually couldn't attend because they have a class going on. So I really like the topic of your presentation. And, there were two areas which I'm sure you would, out of your passion, look into. One is the tinkering of our genes, because of so many pollutants and, something what is called mutagenesis. Many drugs are also mutagenic. And the second thing is, one is tinkering of our genes and, trying to edit the genotype. And second is what you could also read about is how individuals, drugs are tailored to individuals, because not everybody reacts in the same way to a particular drug. So they actually are doing genetic tailoring of drugs for a disease in a particular individual. So it's kind of customized based on your genetic makeup. So I just wanted to suggest these two areas that you might want to read on. Lovely presentation. Thank you, Nidhi.
Thank you so much. I surely would go through that.
Vasudha?
Yeah. Hi, Nidhi. It's very inspiring to see such young children talk about ideas that we have probably only learned as adults. And so it's very, very nice to hear these ideas come in so early to you children. I had two questions. One is a little similar to probably what Siddharth was trying to ask. One is, we've always heard that the lifespan or the longevity of people earlier. Our ancestors used to live shorter lives, say 30, 40 years, and they used to, they perish because of lack of facilities or the medical expertise or even the awareness of certain diseases being enough or vaccines being available. So today we are made to believe that we have a longer life than before. And a lot of organizations are even considering that the way we are moving ahead, maybe being immortal is probably the bigger goal for humanity. So I have a little conflict from where you've asked. You mentioned that there is a fall in longevity. So what is that it's based on? And the second is a little question from my daughter, who's also been hearing your session. She wants to know why cats' eye color is distinctly blue. So I don't know if you can help her understand that. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, as you said, it might be an excellent idea to point out towards me. So yeah, there were a few, we didn't have a lot of medication during that time. But yeah, we can even agree on the note that there were a few ancestors, who didn't have go through to any disease and stuffs like that. So not all, but maybe 10 to 15% about in population who didn't die due to diseases or get anything too much from their ancestors. There are cases, because I myself have heard from my grandmother saying so long, and even my grand nanny lived a really long life. So that's what I know, and that's what I've heard, and that's what I've researched upon. So it's not necessary that all have lived. Even your point might be correct. I might search more on it. That's what I had said. And talking about cat eye color, like humans, it's a really rare, but in cats, you can see it more often. It's basically the one you get it from genetics. So basically, the parent of the cat might have it. It's not necessary the child of the cat should also have it. There are chances that it can get or it cannot. Maybe, if a mother has two different eye color, but a father doesn't, it depends. So one can get it or not. So it depends on who has a stronger gene there.
Okay, looks like there are a lot of people who are interested in genetics. We'll take two quick questions. So one from Geeta. Geeta, you can unmute yourself and ask. Geeta Desikan.
Hi, very good presentation. This was something which, when I was a kid like you as well, used to ponder over all these, what is happening and things like that. So very good. Keep that going. My thing is a thought for you or a question for you, which you can think about later as well. We know about the Darwin's evolution, right? So we adapt and then the genes change and we evolve as a different person than someone was like 300 years back, our ancestors. And now there is a concept of GMO, genetically modified organisms, which are modified genetically in a laboratory, artificially. So what do you think from your perspective, that is it good or bad, or what is your take on that?
So basically not trying it on everyone, I can say. But yeah, as I told about 3 identical strangers, to get some idea about certain parts of genetics, it might be correct, but not in so much, not taking too much population in it. It would be great, I believe.
I'll request Dr. Prasad and Dr. Shilpa to just give a few comments if they have. I think that's why they have raised hands. Dr. Prasad.
Hi, Vinay. Thank you. That's just a quick. I'm not going to ask any question to Nidhi because she's already presented very well. I was just, casually listening to her because this was Vinay was given to my son. And I was just working side by side, but it looks really interesting, right from Siddharth to Nidhi now. And I'm really excited to hear the third presentation, which they are going to come more. Just quick thing to give an input. Genetics is really a vast topic. And just to compile that everything in 5-10 minutes, it's really not a joke, right from hairs to the toe of the foot, everything is involved. We all know that entire body is involved in. And as Rita rightly said earlier, that these are the interesting topics which probably, as Vasudha also mentioned, we used to learn something in the college level or maybe in the medicine later on. So I'm really glad to know, and I'm really thankful to Vinay that we could hear some of these interesting topics, and I'm very happy. And regarding cat, someone asked the question about the cat eyes, and also I think Nidhi said that one of the color of the eyes change because I'm being in the optometry, which is the eye specialty. Yes, that heterochromia is one of the most common condition we typically see, where one eye color is different and another eye, which looks like person is wearing contact lenses in one eye. But yeah, that's really interesting one. And regarding the cat, of course, it comes from genetics to their parents, but it's all depend on the melanin pigment which is there across the body, and the eye has the lighter melanin pigments, which gives speciality to the cat, so they can even see things very clearly at the night compared to the other species on the earth. And also they have the pupil, which is the vertical compared to it's like a snake kind of a pupillary size, so that amount of distraction or the aberrations are less, and they give a lot of good vision at the night time. So they are also in a nocturnal kind of animal. So that's really nice, Nidhi. Thank you, Vinay. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad. Dr. Pradeep.
Hi, this is Ajit's father. Nidhi, it was a good talk regarding one of the question, how the genes are regulated, right? So for everything or anything to happen in the body, the proteins are responsible, right? Be it your physical appearance or any function, whether you're talking or a disease happening, the protein is responsible, right? Similarly, right, the genes are regulated by certain proteins called gene regulatory factors. So these proteins either can activate a gene or can suppress the gene, right? And in order to do this, the proteins are present themselves in a huge network, and we call it as a proteome. So these networks, basically, it's like a magnet. Either they attach each other and kind of come up with a better function, or they kind of suppress and they can inhibit something. Right? This happens. So if you consider a very logically in a physical world, it's like a circuit, electronic circuit, right? It's the same thing. So coming to it, so your DNA is so compactly placed in the nucleus, right? The DNA is kind of expanded, and there are only 30 to 40,000 genes, right, which kind of expresses, right? But the DNA itself is a huge. And between these genes, there are many non-expressing regions, right? And there are multiple, molecules which kind of comes out of this non-expressing region, which goes and attaches to the gene. So all in all, one is the proteins, right, which can inhibit or you can inhibit or it can activate. Also, certain like microRNAs, and they can also inhibit along with the proteins they regulate, right? So it's basically a switching mechanism which happens based on what we call as epigenetic factor. It's not always the genes, but also the environment in which a particular organism or a particular cell is also matters, right? So when someone asks you, like you have a good genes, it's not just the gene, right? I think Nidhi had one of the slide that the children of identical twins were separated, but both had, though they looked different, but both had a different, lifestyles and different characteristics. That's because the environment has played on them in a totally different way, right? Along with that, one of the other question was about whether the human beings can live longer than what we are today. I think Google has Alphabet, which is a parent company of Google, has another company called Calcico, right? Please visit their sites, and you have a lot of literature and research going on. And one of the main agenda there, this company is not academics, it's not even a biotech company, but like-minded people have gotten together and they're doing research to see whether the human life can be extended at least 60 years, like 160 years or beyond that, right? So a lot of research is going on and a lot of interesting material you will find there, right? So you're encouraged to visit there and read through the literature and make some sense of it. And the last thing is, when you're talking of genes and gene editing, right? One of the most recent technology which you should definitely get yourself like acclimatized is CRISP technology, CRISP, right? So basically, that is one of it's very it is very powerful, but also it can be also misused, right? So please take a look at that technology. I'll end here. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep, for sharing all these wonderful inputs. So some of you have also asked in the chat, which I also wanted to ask, request you to do. If you can just put that name in the chat, everybody will be able to look into. And thank you, Dr. Medha, for sharing that apt thing. Nature versus nature and nurture, both are important, right? We cannot blame everything on genes, or or take, nobody can take credit only for genes. Otherwise, children of the same parents, they would have had so many similarities, in terms of nature also. So thank you. I think this was a very exciting topic, and thank you, Nidhi, for presenting that in such a beautiful way. Thank you so much.